All right, boys and girls, good morning. Today is day 21 of NTI, and we are going to be talking about Module 1. We're going to review place value patterns and the powers of 10. And so if you could look at my screen here, I have that we're going to be looking at the place value chart. And we all learned about the tenths, hundredths, and thousandths this year. And so you all learned that our place value system works in powers of tens. And so to get from a lesser place value, let's say we're in the ones place, and we need to get to a greater place value, you can multiply by 10. So when we're multiplying by powers of 10, our digits can shift to the left. When we are going from a greater place value to a less place value, we can divide by powers of 10. Okay, so let's say we have the number, we have 4, and we compare 4 to the number 40. So in this case, this value of 4 right here, this value of 4, okay, is in a lesser place value than this 4 is in the tens place. Okay, so when we're going from 4 in the ones to 4 in the tens place, so 4 compared to 40 or 4 ones to 4 tens, this 4 tens, the 4 in the number 40 in the tens place is 10 times the value of this 4 because it's in a greater place value. Now, let's say I changed that and I made this into 4 tenths. Now, let's compare. Now, our 4 was in the ones place and it moved to the tenths place. Or if we're comparing the number 4 in this number to the 4 in the tenths place in this 0 decimal 4. Now, this 4 is in a lesser place value. So we have divided by a power of 10, but also this 4 is only a fraction of this, a piece of this, a part of this, because it has a less value. And we don't say it's 4 times less. We actually say it is a tenth, a fraction of it. And if it's one place value away, it's only 1 power of 10. So if you notice, you can see some of my writing right here. I'll give you another example up here. Let's talk about a different number for a second. All right, so the value of 4 and 542 is 10 times the value of the 4 and 74. They're saying the value of this 4 right here is 10 times the value of this 4 because it is in a greater place value and it's one place value away from each other. Okay, we could also say the value of this 4, the value of the 4 in 74 is 1/10 the value of this 4 in 542. You could say it either way. This 4 is 10 times greater than the value of this 4, or the value of this 4 is 1/10 the value of this 4. Okay, now let's do another one. I'm going to show you this one. So let's say we have 25 and 6 tenths compared to 16. Okay, so we could say two things. Now, these sixes, the value of these sixes is what we're comparing. So the value of this 6 in the tenths place is 1/10 the value of this 6 in the ones place, right? Because it's in a less place value and it's a power of 10 away from it, but it's in a less place value. Or we could say it another way. This 6, the value of 6 in the number 16, this one right here, is 10 times the value of the 6 in 25 and 6 tenths. Okay? Because this 6 is in a greater place value. Okay? So if you're in a greater place value, you're either 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times the value of another digit. Or if you're talking about the number that's in a lesser place value, like tenths, or in this case, this 4 in the ones compared to this one, it would be a fraction of it, a piece of it, a part of it, not 10 times as much. It would be a fraction of it, 1/10. Okay? Let me show you one more on there just to, I want to show you something. I'm going to create, let me see if I can delete those. All right, let's do we'll do 423. And I'm going to compare that to 356 and 1/10. Now, let's compare these threes, okay? I guess I could have put that underneath, but that's okay. So this 3 in the ones place is 1, 2 powers of 10 away from this 3. So now we're talking about 2 powers of 10 would be 100. 10 times 10 is 100. So this 3 in the hundreds place is in a greater place value than this 3. So it would be 100 times the value of this 3. Okay? If we were talking about this 3 right here, it would be a fraction of this 3 in the hundreds. So this 3 is still 2 powers of 10 away, 1, 2, and it would be a fraction. So instead of earlier we said 1/10, this would be 100th. The value of the 3 in 423 is 100th the value of the 3 in 356 because it's 2 place values away, 2 powers of 10 away, which is 100. 10 times 10 is 100. And this right here is in a less place value. Okay? So those are some things that you're going to see on your assessment today. Something else that you might see is this is when we actually wrote digits down in here and we into our place value charts, and we shifted them. That's what we're going to work on. So this says, what is the total number of zeros in the standard form of 4 times 10 to the third power? So 2 things that I want you to remember when you see this on your test is 10 to the third power, right here. 10 to the third power, right here, equals, if I have 10, this right here, 10 to the third power, means they want you to multiply 10 times 10 times 10. And 10 times 10 times 10 equals 1,000. So 4 times 1,000, what would that equal? How many zeros would be in that answer? So those are things that you're going to be looking at. Same as if you had 10 to the second power. 10 to the second power means 10 times 10. They want you to multiply 10 by itself 2 times. So let's do some practice. So for here we have 256, and we're going to, oh no, I keep doing that. I'm not used to using that. 256, and we're going to multiply by 1 power of 10, okay? We're going to multiply by 1 power of 10. So if I am multiplying by a power of 10, my answer should become greater. So I'm going to shift my digits to the left because I want to move to greater place values. And if I'm only multiplying by 1 power of 10, they're only going to shift 1 place value. So this 2 is going to be moved to the thousands. This 5 is going to be shifted to the hundreds. And this 6 is going to shift to the tens. And now what do you think would go right here in this box? Because we have 2,506 tens. Do you think you know? Yes, you are correct. It's going to have to be a 0. So 256 times 10 equals 2,560. Okay? Now, let's try the next one. The next one says 14 divided by 100. So that is 14 divided by 2 powers of 10. Now I'm dividing, which means my answer, now I'm dividing by a number greater than 1. So my answer is going to become less. So we're going to shift these digits. We're going to shift these digits 2 powers of 10, 100, 2 place values. So this 1 is going to shift 1, 2, and this 4 would move 1, 2 here. Now remember, your decimal is not a place value. That was just a column to hold the place value spot. So we end up with 14 hundredths. Okay? And the next one that we have is, no, I better not do that. I bet my decimals would erase. The next one that we have is 2 hundredths times 1,000. So how many powers of 10 is 1,000? Yes, 3, because it had, sometimes, the people say you can count the zeros, and that's not really a strategy, but yes, it's true. But because 10 times 10 times 10 equals 1,000, so that's 3 powers of 10. So we're going, and remember, we're multiplying by a number greater than 1, so our answer is going to become greater. So we are going to shift these digits 3 place values because we're multiplying by 3 powers of 10. So this 2, and actually I don't really have to shift the zeros because they'll have no value when they move. So I'm going to shift this to 1, 2, 3. Okay? Now, We know that we have 2 10s. What's 2 10s worth? What's going to have to go here so that we can actually have an answer that makes sense? Yes, a 0. Very good. So that answer is going to be 20. Okay? So again, don't forget that our place value system works in powers of tens. And if I am in the tens place, a 4 in the tens place, and I'm comparing to this 4 in the ones place, this 4 is 10 times the value of this 4 because it's in a greater place value. This 4 is 1/10 the value of this 4 because it's in a less place value, and they're only one place value away from each other. Okay? All right. If you have any questions, holler at your teacher. You all can go work on your quiz. Those of you on Google Classroom, you should be working on the Google form. And those of you who are watching this video at home, you have the quiz in your packet of quizzes for today. All right, guys, I'll see you tomorrow for day 22.